Good to be at your place because we're taking you to Albert Park. You see the 2-litre touring cars out there. There's the lake, plenty of breeze here this afternoon. The little boats are getting along nicely, and these little cars should get along nicely too. Some new combinations, some new cars, the 2 BMWs you're looking at there, and they'll line up 1 and 2 on the grid. Geoff Brabham has pole position from teammate Paul Morris, then it's Greg Murphy, the new Audi. Jimmy Richards in the Ford Mondeo had his problems in practice, but certainly has got those sorted out. Brad Jones is back behind him, then it's Geoff Bull. And have a look at this, 05 on a red car. Now that's a bit of a change. Peter Brock in a Volvo. Stephen Richards sits there in the Alfa Romeo. And back through we go again through the grid. There's McLean and Adderton. Les May, the well I say go-karts, but the karting king we should say. He's there too in row 6, and then we've got Nelson, Phyllis Matthews, Holden and Mann. That's how they roll up. But the big noise on the front is the 2 BMWs of Brabham and Morrison. Graham Moore, you've had a fair bit to do with this class of car. You drove an Opel pretty well and won the Privateers Cup in this class. Not racing today, helping us out. We thank you for that. But we have some new spec cars here, and these BMWs exciting things.
Yes, the BMWs are factory cars, and they're the latest spec cars. We also have the Audis now have come in, 2 A4 Audis, and they are also the latest spec cars.
Yeah, the Audis look really nice. New colour scheme. There you go. It's red with this beautiful blue. Sits up behind it. Gee whiz, they look really tricky. The Alfa Romeo, that's going to be replaced by a Honda. Stephen Richards having perhaps one of the last races in that car. Of course, the series hasn't started yet. It starts a little later on. So this is really an excellent chance for everybody to test their gear before the season proper.
Absolutely. The other debut car here today is the Volvo. It's an 850, the car originally driven last year by Ricky Rydell. So the championship proper gets underway in May, so this is an excellent opportunity to test.
Yeah, that Volvo in Rydell's hands, that was a big successful package over in Great Britain.
Should have won the championship. They had a lot of wins early in the year, and then they dropped off a little bit towards the middle, and towards the end they came strong again. So it's a very good car.
So Geoff Brabham very excited about the BMWs. These cars came from Europe, so they're the latest spec cars, been adapted to our conditions.
Yeah, the car that's on pole, the Geoff Brabham car, is in actual fact the Steve Soper car that ran second in the World Cup.
So good material. The Ford Mondeo is an interesting one too that Jimmy Richards is driving, because they lightened that car with a lot of carbon fibre. Had a look at it yesterday, beautifully done, and they took something like 25 out of it, so it's so light now.
Yes, that's been completely rebuilt.
Red lights waiting for the green. There we go, racing now. Let's see who gets it down. The Peugeot pulls out a full. He got a good start. The 2 Audis get away nicely. Jimmy Richards gets boxed out. Stephen Richards looking for a way through in the Alfa Romeo. Look at this, 3 abreast as they go down there. Could be 4 almost to tap up the backside there from the son onto the father. Jimmy almost got one up the backside from Stephen. The 2 BMWs get away nicely, and they've got their power down nice and balanced. There we go. The Audi comes up into 3rd place and 4th place. Now Jimmy Richards makes a move around Peter Brock. Looks funny, 05 on a red car.
Yeah, it's amazing how those rear-wheel drive Diet Coke cars get away so quick, because the 2 cars preceding are 4-wheel drive cars, so it's a great effort by the boys.
BMW, Audi and Audi. Now we've talked about the BMWs. These Audis are the latest trick.
Yeah, they're the Italian Super Turismo cars, driven by Pirro and Capelli. So these cars should be hot stuff. First one's driven by Greg Murphy, and he's a talent, and I'm very happy to see him out there in front of the team leader.
Yeah, Greg Murphy is a good driver. He's very aggressive. Of course, he was hopeful of going over and doing some open-wheeler driving in Europe. That didn't quite come off, but Brad Jones has put this team together. They ran it as a 2-car team last year. He's done a terrific job, Brad Jones, and he's got the package together. As I said, good chance to run it before the championship proper. They just look beautiful the way they've turned out. But at the moment, Murphy leading the boss. He's in 3rd, there's 4th.
I'm sure that Murphy's going to go very hard here today. He wanted to put up a big show to impress all the people from overseas, and he'd love to drive open-wheeler racing cars, but this is his second opportunity, so let's go here.
Yeah, and Brad Jones is giving them that opportunity. So now the gap is closing up a little bit. as we watch Brad Jones tailing up Murphy there, but they're starting to bunch up. There's plenty of time in this race. There's no need to hit the panic button. If they can get on the tail, plenty of area being used there from Jones as he uses all the road and then some. Murphy, though, almost onto the tail of the BMWs now. This is good stuff. The Peugeot full. That's a great drive from him. Good start. He's running back in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Peter Brock looks like he's on a bit of a move there. Jimmy Richards and he go side by side as they come up there. Stephen Richards in behind him. So the field now bunched up into 2 races. This is the first bunch coming, and can the others bridge the gap? They're not that far back, and there's plenty of laps to do so.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's no team orders in this Diet Coke team. I don't know about the Oryx team, but certainly in the Diet Coke team, these 2 guys are out there to race, and it's going to be on for young and old.
Well, I've certainly done that over the last couple of seasons. Wow, haven't we seen some actions from the 2 beautifully prepared Diet Coke cars? Frank Gardner must have nightmares sometimes because it's a real street fight between the same 2 cars, track after track, week after week. They've been turning it on now for 2 seasons. But Geoff Brabham settled back into the car, takes pole, still in front at the moment. Young Morris, hard charger, good driver. Big future ahead of him, sits in second place. Took the series out last year. Then it's Murphy, then it's Jones, then it's Full, and then it's Richards. And I'd say that's the J Richards. Yes, it's Jimmy Richards back after Geoff Full. So Geoff Full's done a really good job at the moment in the Peugeot. He was an improver toward the late into the season last year.
Yeah, they've got a 95 spec engine for this Peugeot, so it's a 94 actual chassis, but it's got a very, very strong engine, and they're having a lot of meetings this weekend with the Peugeot people here from Formula One, so they're looking good.
Well, we're talking to the people from Audi yesterday, and they were saying the big improvement of these cars has been the front suspension. They've worked very hard on that. They've tidied up the rear end a little bit, but it's been the suspension. Of course, the gearbox is the biggest big thing. They didn't have that sequential gearbox. He said that's made a big, big difference to the cars.
Yeah, this is one of the Audis are the only actual manufacturer that have built their own gearbox. Walkinshaw's built a gearbox for the Volvo, but every other car in the field have X-Track or Hollinger gearboxes, etc. So it's a very big object to take on.
There's the gap, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Massive crowd in here as it's been every day. Absolutely picture card weather. You can't believe it. Not a cloud hardly in the sky. The flag's just fluffing in the breeze here. It's perfect conditions. Still Brabham. Now Morris comes up underneath the sides. Maybe time to go. Takes a different line. Morris has a look up the inside. Brabham will know he's there. Comes across and closes the door there. Now there may have been a change in position back in the Audi camp. No, it is. There's still Murphy and Jones. So that's 2 real dogfights and street fights going on here. And probably, if anything, they'd like to bust this up so you go BMW, Audi, BMW, Audi. At the moment, the 2 teams are fighting each other.
Yeah, it's interesting because we haven't thought about it yet, but let's talk about it. The Yokohama tyres on these 2 front cars didn't do so well in the V8 touring car race. The Audis have Dunlops on board, so it's early into the race at this point of time, but it could get a little interesting later on.
Morris having a look again. Morris pretty keen, I think, to say I'd like to hit the front. He's had a look a couple of times. Brabham doing a good job. Little clip of dirt there as he sort of comes up the inside. Nice low shot there. You see the angles they go through. Now Morris up on the inside again. Pretty keen to take the lead. He says it's time. Brabham's got other thoughts about it. Morris now under brake. See what happens. Brabham holds him out. Nice job there. Geoff Brabham held his line, just got on the brakes a little later, and still leads this race from Paul Morris. But Morris starting to get aggressive, starting to show the fact that he wouldn't mind having a lead for a while.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, these 2 guys off the racetrack are very good mates, but on the racetrack, it's for real. And the young dude, as they call him, it's his nickname, he's going to give Geoff Brabham a race till the end, I'll tell you.
And as you can see, most of the grandstand areas around here absolutely full of people, and you can see the crowd around this circuit. It's such an immense area to fill this park. Don't be deceived by the open areas you're looking at. We've got a massive crowd here. We're now the commentary box where we're high in the sky and look down. You just see people wall to wall. But at the moment you see Brabham. He's in first. You see Morris back in second. And Murphy now in third. That's the red Audi starting to close the gap again. The BMWs have split themselves by maybe 4 or 5 lengths. Morris comes back under brakes again. So they're very evenly balanced, the 2 sets of teams, BMWs and Audis. We'll take a break, come back to Albert Park. Stay with us, the 2 leaders. Good racing here. live from Albert Park in Melbourne, Victoria. You're looking at the 2-litre cars out on the circuit now as we look down on the chopper. That's 1, 2 and 3. It's Jeffrey Brabham out in front from Paul Morris, Greg Murphy, Brad Jones, Jimmy Richards and Geoff Full. They are the top runners at the moment as they work their way around this area of the circuit. There's been quite a few cars, including Formula One, that have found a bit of trouble here. It's tricky, very, very fast and free-flowing, but then you come into an area where you've got to get hard onto the brakes and use the circuit. As you can see there, the line changes dramatically as they go around that left-hander into the right-hander again and down this very, very long straight. That's the pit complex there. What about that? Australia feel proud of that. It is unbelievable. World-class and terrific. Now, this is the set of corners that's been causing the trouble after the start of most of the races, because they've come straight down into that, off that straight area, down into these sweepers.
Yeah, well, that straight, Darryl, is a very fast straight. It's 250 k's, I would imagine, down there. And it's a big, big stop. But that's 4 other stops on this racetrack, so the brakes are getting terribly, terribly hot.
Well, we've talked about tyres so much today because of being a green circuit, being a new surface that nobody's had a lot of time to test on, obviously because it's a road circuit, so your practice time is pretty limited. The Yokohamas and Michelins and Dunlops, they've all had mixed success here.
Yes, they have. Well, you've got, in these cars, different configurations also. You've got the BMW's front engine, 4-cylinder, rear-wheel drive. Then you have the Audis, which are 4-wheel drive and 4-cylinder. And then you have other cars like the Volvo, which are 5-cylinder, front-wheel drive. So there's lots and lots of different applications that changes the characteristics on the racetrack.
Well, nothing much has happened because Morris is still trailing Brabham, and the 2 Audis sit there, Murphy and Jones. They just can't seem to bridge the gap. They've been a little closer than that. At times, Murphy's really wringing the Audi's neck. He's trying everything he can to get into touch, to perhaps lunge down with a desperate and try and break up the BMWs. But at the moment, Morris has done everything he can to get past Brabham, but Brabham's done a terrific job in front.
Brabham's a very professional driver. I mean, he's been to Indy, he's run 4th at Indy, he's won the ISMA championships 4 times in the USA. He's a very, very professional driver, and so is Paul Morris, I might add.
Came out of America, Geoff Brabham, with an enormous reputation. I mean, that IMSA car, he absolutely dominated that for years.
He had a record, I think, 8 straight wins. No one has ever done that before. He won the Driver of the Year. I mean, the guy's a talent. You know, he had to finish 4th at Indianapolis, and he's had a lot of starts there. That just speaks for itself. Yeah,
he took a while to settle into the BMW, which I think surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, he just said it was there was no downforce, and it took a little while to get into the car. But now he's doing a good job, and he's pressing Paul. I think he's a very big chance for the championship this year.
So the 2 BMWs, there they are, 1 and 2. I'd like to perhaps get a look at Peter Brock in car 05, because the Volvo, it's a new package to Australia, and it's cost a fair bit of money to get it here. Had a look at it yesterday. Beautifully made with all this Kevlar, and the structure of the car is just sensational. So we can pick up a shot of Peter Brock in 05. We'll try and give you a shot. There it is now. There's the Brock car. Looks funny, doesn't it, to see him in a red car. We've seen him in the white, red, and blue colours. He's in 6th spot at the moment. And there it is. So I didn't think I'd see the day where he wasn't driving anything but a Holden. We did see him in a BMW for a while. I guess we've seen him in the Ford Sierra when you think back. But a Volvo, it doesn't really gel. But gee, it's a pretty car the way it's put together.
He's not the average hat driver, is he, Brock? But it's a new image, this car for Volvo. It's 5 cylinders, it's 20 valve, it's a high-tech car built by TWR, and this car in the championship this year will give it a big shake. I think Brock's going to drive this car equally as well as Ricard Rydell.
Well, this car for him, or this race for him in this car, would be a tremendous bonus because he hasn't had much time to sort it out. It hasn't been in the country that long. So at least now under race conditions, he can evaluate it before the championship starts.
Yeah, he's had 1 test day, I believe, at Lakeside. I think the other thing you've got to consider is he's in a V8 1 minute, and then he's in a 2-litre car, you know, half an hour later. So it's a big ask for Brock to settle down and sort of drive this thing very smooth and quick, as you have to do. So give him a chance. I think he'll make the grade.
Yeah, a lot of work to do, though, I think, to get up with the Audis and the BMW. Maybe this track has the advantage for those cars, but a bit of work to do. He's a fair way back in 6th spot. but he always drives at 110%, so he'll certainly give the value there. But you've got to have a look at the way it's made. It's a beautifully turned out motor car. Geoff Bull is another youngster that's done a terrific job. New sponsorship for this car, beautifully turned out the Peugeot, and they struggled a long way midfield, maybe rear of the field when they started with it, but gee, they've developed the car. He's done a great job.
Yeah, Geoff's a hot little driver. He just goes for a broke at all times, and with the 95 spec engine, he's got plenty of horsepower, and he's doing a great job in this little car.
Yeah, there it is, the Peugeot, beautifully turned out. They all are, these cars, so we'll take a break as we watch Geoff Bull as he chases Peter Brock here at Albert Park. Back shortly. Yesterday they had a few problems as they come off the line now. The two BMWs get away nicely. The Audis a better start. Peter Brock up the inside. Jimmy Richards looking for a better start too. This is better from the Volvo now. Brock goes inside. The Audis are side by side. BMW, Audi, and then the Volvo.
Yes, Morris has taken over from his partner, Geoff Brabham, in the exact opposite situation to yesterday. Audi, Brock was very aggressive at the start.
No doubt about it. Brock under brakes. Plenty of dust goes up. Morris has decided he's going to be the boy that you're going to follow today. Of course, the current champion won the series last year, a very big talent, and Geoff Brabham completely outfoxed him, outdrove him yesterday, but the roles are reversed. Now have a look at these Audis. They are beautiful cars. They've done a lot of work to the front suspension. Now, the gearbox is a full sequential gearbox. They didn't have any of those aids last year. This is a much better package for Audi this year.
Okay, the cars are coming through now, and Jim Richards is starting to make his move on Brock. Richards had an unfortunate day yesterday, but today he's hoping for a much better race day.
Jimmy Richards in the blue Mondeo. Now, this car has got so much carbon fibre in it. They've taken a lot of weight out of the car, beautifully put together, and this is a much better package also. Has a bit of trouble coming off the line, but he's got past Peter Brock now, so Jimmy Richards is on the charge. Remember, Brock's Volvo has only had one test session up at Lakeside. A lot of work to do on that. This car will get better. There they are, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The BMWs, the Cope Tire team out in front from the Audis, and Jimmy Richards to start to close. He's got the laps to do it, and this Mondeo has got a lot of grunt when he gets on these long, fast straights. There he is there. Jimmy Richards can drive anything and loves to drive all sorts of vehicles.
Yes, talking to Peter Brock this morning, and Brock's also looking for a better run today. They've changed the car and they've changed some tyre setup, so hopefully Brock will pick up Richards and follow him through.
Jimmy Richards goes through there. Peter Brock sits in behind him. The two BMWs, the two Audis, pretty close this time round. Now let's see who's got the grunt down in a straight line, because there's plenty of room here to let the horses run. Look at this crowd, look at this circuit. What a marvellous day. The weather's turned on. We're in for a biggie, Australia. It's a good one. 7 laps to go now. Morris, he leads Brabham, still there. Jones is there. Murphy is there. Now have a look at the Peugeot on the charge. This will be Geoff Bull. Long way round. Comes up the inside. Oh, good stuff from the young bloke. He's having a go. Jimmy Richards now says, where are you going? Changes line and tries to shut him out. Brock has a run up the inside. Will probably get through full. Yes, he does. This is good racing today. Door-to-door stuff.
Super touring car racing in Australia, just like the BTCC. Brock's got past now. He's going to try and hang on to Richards, but as the race progresses, I'm sure that Richards will get much faster because the tyres are slow heating up in this car.
Very impressed with young Geoff Bull. He had a good season last year, and he got better as the car he got more familiar with the car. They could develop the car, and he's been good here. Drove very well yesterday. It's Morris, Brabham, Jones, Murphy, Richards and Brock. They're the top runners for you. The Audi's getting a little bit closer now. Jimmy Richards stretches the legs of the Ford Mondeo. Just can't make the impression there. Back markers dropping off the pace. Look at this crowd. They've turned out in Melbourne in their thousands. Terrific stuff as the little tourists go through. Bull now loses a little bit of ground to Brock as he drops back. But the BMW's under control as they were yesterday.
Yep. Paul Morris, the current Australian Super Touring Car champion, he didn't like getting beaten yesterday by his team partner, so there's going to be on for young and old today. There it is, the Diet Coke, the most professional team in Australian motorsport, in my view.
Well, Frank Gardner, of course, very well known internationally, has been setting this team up. They always are well prepared, no doubt about that. Morris, a very good driver. Geoff Brabham took a while to settle into these 2 litres cars, and a little bit different from what he's been driving for the last 10 years in America, but now he's showing his full potential. Won here yesterday, closes now on Morris, gets a little closer. If the Audis can get in touch, they've got to do it now because they're starting to get to the halfway line. Down this big, long straight. Now, these are the set of corners we've had a lot of problems with yesterday. At the end of this straight, as Brabham comes up, you can see the car get twitchy. Puffer brakes as it locks up. Oh, got off the grass now. A lot of cars have had trouble here. Up on the inside, side by side, the 2 BMWs. Have a look at this. Who's got the brakes? Morris has been past. Brabham's on the inside. Should get the better run here. Brabham holds his line. Morris says no up the inside, and there's no team orders here. There'll be plenty of hargy-bargy and a bit of biffo here. They don't mind mixing it. Like what this has done now has let the Audis back in. The Audi right up underneath, and that's Brad Jones, team leader, team owner, having a big go now.
Yeah, the Audis are going to continue on this because they're going to push these BMWs and the tyres. The tyres are the big problem around this racetrack.
Well, the best thing that can happen for the Audis is the BMWs do exactly what they've been doing, because while they're scrapping, they can get in touch. So Brabham now, as I said, won here yesterday. Look at the gap. He got out of that as the Audi. Is it Jones or Murphy? Hard to pick from up here. I think it's Brad Jones. All over the back of Morris now. Let's see how they go on the horsepower stakes as they go past the marina. There's the lake now. The BMW starts to stretch out a bit. The Audi drops back off the pace. That's the difference as Brad Jones chases now Morris. Under brakes, Morris trying hard. Smoke comes off the tyres. Big puff there. Brad Jones just can't keep in touch on the quicker part of the track.
Jimmy Richards is on a charge now. The tyres are starting to come in. He had a problem with this yesterday. He's just passed Brad Jones, and JR is on a move.
Jimmy Richards in the blue Ford Mondeo now comes up, gets past Murphy. So the tyres are coming into play. This is a very hard circuit on rubber because really we came here not knowing what to expect.
What happens in this racetrack is because you have long straights, the tyres get time to cool down. So what's happened, I think, yesterday, they've sort of tried to keep the temperatures up and couldn't do that. So today they've changed the setup of the car to keep the tyre temperatures up.
Yeah, my mail is that full is a lap down. I thought he was very competitive running in that early part of the lap, that race there, but he is a lap down. He had to go into the pits, which we unfortunately didn't see. So just if you're getting excited, you Geoff Full fans, he is a lap down. So it's BMW 1 and 2. Jimmy Richards now in the Mondeo coming into touch with Brad Jones. Murphy trying to hang on, but the BMW seem to be in control. They seem to have that little bit of an edge. Hey, stay with us, Australia. Ripper race. We're back shortly here to Albert Park. Now, that's right. Richards in third place from Jones, Murphy and Brock. There's the 2 BMWs. Jimmy Richards screaming around and locking tyres up at every part of this track. Fantastic. Now let's have a look at how he got into third place. Nice bit of driving.
Okay, Richards got a great run out of the bottom corner, got up the inside of Bradley Jones, and he's made a big surge down the inside under brakes and just locked Jones on the outside. Locked up a brake, no problem. Power on through the turn. Thanks very much, third place.
Great bit of driving there from Jimmy Richards, and he really had to come a long way to get Jones, and look at the gap he's opened up. So obviously Bradley Jones and the Audi was holding him up. Swings through now. Let's hope he can get in touch here with the BMWs. Trying very hard is Jimmy Richards. They call him the Rain Master. He'll drive any sort of car on any sort of circuit and always be competitive.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with this drive, Darryl, because Jim thought the car wasn't as good as the BMs today, and he said he would be very, very pleased to be finished in third place. But as he's going, he's pulling back Paul Morris here now. He's looking a big chance.
All over the back of Morris. He's trying to line him up. Mind you, Morris is not the easiest boy to get around. He covers the circuit very well. He's very fast. He's very brave under brakes. So to get past Morris, you've really got to do some homework and set it up probably half a lap before you actually do it.
Let me tell you, Jimmy's not the gentleman they say he is. If he wants second place, he's going to push same as anybody else, be it Paul Morris or whoever.
Very impressed with Geoff Brabham's drive over the weekend. Won here yesterday after a good battle with Morris, but to drop Morris off, he's done that exactly the same thing again today. The 2 Audis, they've had their battles. Murphy now is in front of the boss, Brad Jones. Jones with a lime green mirrors. That's his car. Beautifully turned out cars, these, and they are the top business. I mean, they've come from Europe. They're sorted factory cars.
Yeah, these cars won the World Cup last year for Audi, and present at this race meeting this weekend is Mr. Roland Gumpert, the marketing manager for this area from Audi, so he'll be impressed with the cars.
Brabham, Morris, Richards, they're the top three. Jones, Murphy and Brock. That's how they run us up past the lake. Look at the crowd turned out here. These little cars doing a terrific job. Very fast parts of the circuit here, and they virtually go through some of these big sweepers just flat strap.
Yeah, these cars are pulling like 248 k's down the back straight, and the boys said the racetrack is still very, very slippery, but exciting to drive around.
Bradley Jones swings the Audi now in behind Jimmy Richards, the blue Ford Mondeo. In behind Murphy's teammate, and these two Audis are beautifully turned out, and the workmanship in the car, you cannot believe it. The carbon fibre, everything so professionally done. Richards now getting a little closer to Morris. We're running out of laps. There's 2 to go. Can he get right on the tail of Morris? They're trying hard. Hang on. There's a big puff of smoke, but there's the gap. Geoff Brabham still in control. Morris with the red mirrors a second. Now Jimmy Richards starts to stalk him. And I tell you what, when Richards is going to stalk you, you know you're going to have a battle on your hands.
Darryl, this is going to be a good couple of last laps, I can tell you that. Jim Richards is really pressuring. He knows he's got a lot of friends out there in the corporate boxes from the Ford Motor Company. They want to put on a big show today. They want this car to be in Australia. There's talk of this whole team moving to the USA. And if they don't get a sponsor, that's where it goes.
Pretty incredible stuff. The team has threatened. Ross Palmer has said, I'll just take the whole kit and caboodle. I'll go to the States. Now, there's the big run down the outside of the back markers. Probably hasn't lost too much there. The BMW still in control. Not sure he can do it. Richards fastest lap, 2:05. 2:05.346. So he is the quickest car on the circuit.
Yeah, that's 0.1 faster than the BMs. Now, that's unbelievable stuff because the testing the BMs have been doing over the last few months, I just got to take your hat off to Jimmy Richards.
Well, he hasn't got a lot of room to do this. He's going to have to really brake late and get the thing as smooth as he can. And if anybody can do that, he can. Brabham, Morris, Richards, Murphy, they're 1 and 4. The 2 BMWs, well, they're a few car lengths apart now, and that's been about the gap for the last 2 laps. Brabham has really taken control of this class this year. He's decided he wants to win the series. Morris, of course, won it last year. They had some incredible encounters. They bent some fenders, they run up each other, they really raced, and there is no rules. No matter who's in front, the team orders are you race to win. Jimmy Richards, I don't think he's going to be able to get into contact with him, just too far back. But have a look at that pit complex. That is as good as anything in the world, I can tell you that. Look at the corporate areas. This is the last lap they're on now. Look at the grandstands. Look at the people here. Tell me Albert Park isn't a picture. It's a great layout for a racetrack. Will be one of the great racetracks of the world. The 2 BMWs will be proud to win the first of the 2-litre races here at Albert Park over this weekend. It's the first of the series, but not the official series. That doesn't start till later. So in a way, everybody's getting a chance to run their cars, get them set up for the 96 series.
Great opportunity here to test the cars and also to show your wares to the corporate world. I mean, Victoria should be very proud of this facility. The whole place is just alive. Melbourne's alive and the racing's alive also.
Geoff Brabham now on the last lap brings the car number 83 around, and his dad will be pretty proud of this. Another Brabham having a win here at Albert Park. Morris has closed a little now, and I tell you, if he gets close enough, don't discount a late charge, because Morris is aggressive. He loves to get on that podium, and he's a very talented race driver. And you can see how hard he's trying, using all the ripple strip and a bit of the grass as well. Down this fast part of the circuit here, a chance if you can get them under brakes, if you can go late. The Ford's out of contention. It's third place, no doubt about this. The big interest is, can Morris do a desperate? Brabham now throwing the car through, trying to keep it smooth. You've got to keep the revs up on these little cars.
Yeah, this is the professional team at its best. Towards the end of the race, the professional drivers keeping up the lap times, the cars staying together, tyres looked after, and the end result is 1-2.
Well, you can see how Morris was trying very hard. He just turned in the fastest lap as he's closed up on Geoff Brabham. But Brabham will have the widest BMW you've ever seen trying to get past it from here. Morris right up on the grass. He's using all of the track and then some. I tell you, he'll never give it away. If there's a chance, he'll hunt him up. So Morris now with a bit between his teeth. He carries the number 1 because he won the championship, but he's not going to win here. It's Geoff Brabham's weekend for the 2-litre Super Terrors. Over the line goes Geoff Brabham. His father will be as proud as punch. And there's the flag being waved. Look at this. Jones ahead of Murphy. Jones got him. Well, the boss came through at the end. So a good battle between the 2 Audis and a good battle between the 2 BMWs. Geoff Brabham ahead of Paul Morris. Jimmy Richards in the Ford Mondeo takes 3rd place. And Brabham, he'd be as proud as punch having a win down here.
Yeah, I'm sure his dad would love that too. Old Jack's here and he's having a lovely time down here at Albert Park.
All right, let's wrap it up for you once again. Here's the results. Geoff Brabham takes the checkered flag in 1st place from Paul Morris and Jimmy Richards. Bradley Jones just got Greg Murphy right on the line and filling the top 6. 05 and Peter Brock. Hey, that's just a taste of the action of the day, Australia. Stay with us. We're back for a day's motor racing.